guys, me and Adam just out for a quiet day on the new speedboat with the 70 Johnson there. Look, it stopped working. Don't know why as yet. And we've got this nice 42-foot Riviera giving us a tow. After chucking out the 1968 Johnson Meteor 100 horsepower that had come with the boat, I purchased a 1993 Johnson 70 horsepower two-stroke outboard. He's not one for rowing. As you just saw in the footage, the motor had problems of its own. The first time I took the boat on a test drive, it seemed only the carpet was a bit damp. On the second attempt, the leaking had become much worse and the floor looked like a bloody pond. I attempted to dry the bastard out with an oil heater. I had hopes that the 50-year-old wooden stringers might be salvageable. Having never worked with fiberglass before, I had no fucking idea what was involved rebuilding the floor of a boat, even a small boat like this. Confident that I could get this thing fucking shipshape. Step 2 was to remove the cleats and start sanding back the spider-cracked deck paint with a view to respraying in the near future. As you can see, before this, the closest I'd ever got to sanding was falling asleep on the beach at Byron Bay a few years ago. Those sanding marks were way too deep. The engine and control cables were also in the way of progress, so I disconnected them as well. As you'll see, I used my little purple Posca pen to write reminder notes on both the engine and the little plastic satchels to remind myself of where to keep the parts so I didn't lose them. Grinding is by far the most dominant aspect of boat floor restoration. So off I went to Bunnings hardware store to buy myself an AEG 1100 watt corded grinder. For the first little while, I was a little dangerous with this thing. It was my hell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the back. We're looking at the transom. Upon closer inspection, that, my friends, is a rotten transom. This whole thing has to come off. Good lordy lord. Step 3. So in order to get to the wet transom, I had to remove some or all of the deck cap. The first thing to happen was ripping off the rub rail. It had previously been painted along with the deck at some point, but the red was now chipping off. This stuff just fell off. Took out a couple of screws and off we go. Take a bit more work. You've got the hull and you've got the deck, and they've been fiberglass together or resin together. And this, I guess this looks original to me, so it's 51 years old. Sorry, my GoPro 7's carked it, so I'm waiting for a... How do you fucking do this? Just trying to get rid of what I assume is like resin and original part of the rub rail crap. We got up close one. Yeah, I know it's a paint scraper, not a chisel. I don't have a fucking chisel. One day. After a helping hand from matey Doug, with a bit of prompting, he convinced me that we could get this big heavy bastard off. I know you're not meant to lie them down like that, but that's where it landed, so shit happens. A matter of, do I keep filing away around the whole cap and then take it all off, which is a mega job, or do I do the unthinkable and cut into just this rear section? Take this rear section off as a separate cap. Undecided yet. I decided to just try and remove the last little section of the deck to make it easier to put it all back together later. I actually used a small metalworking hacksaw which cut through the red fiberglass deck cap like butter. Looks like it was done pretty rock solidly, all the way to the edge. Hello? Any spideys in there? Any 50-year-old, 51-year-old
Grandpappy spiders, come out now. You've been warned.
I read somewhere online that because the transom is a big part of holding the boat together structurally, once you pull it out, the rest of the thin fiberglass can bow or move shape. So I've braced it with the worst fucking DIY contraption you've ever seen on YouTube. I cut the two edges off because I could get them off, and I needed to get into the center. I think it was resin stuck to the fiberglass really thickly. Only way to go about it, I mean, I've been cutting and fucking everything you can imagine. Anyway, I've been chipping away at it, and I'm there. I have finally, oh fucking, there you go. I don't know if you can see it, but a little beigey section. We've reached the fiberglass, so there's an end in sight. That has not been an easy job, most physically demanding yet, but at least I get to stand up and I don't have to wear my head to toe fucking anti-fiberglass dust bullshit spaceman suit. Anyway, that's me, I've made it through, it's fucking beer time.